Comment ça va? That means how
you... Tell him about the robot.
I'm trying to do the introduction.
Comment ça va? That means how you doing. Him is Tinu, me, I'm Daddy. This is Cajun Craftastrophe. Big whoop. Now tell them about the robot.
You sure know how to ruin an introduction, Daddy.
Saying that I ruined it assumes that the introduction was gonna be good in the first place. It wasn't. So please, for the love of all that's good, talk about the robot.
For the record, I'm gonna start filming these intros when you're not around.
Well, for the record, I'm tuning you out until I hear the word robot.
Okay, fine. Today, I'm getting back to one of my first crafting loves, and that's sculpting. And as you may have guessed from that disastrous introduction, I'm gonna sculpt a robot.
Finally!
We're gonna build an armature, use 2 different materials, do a lot of sculpting and stamping, get fancy with a cape and some resin, and then paint them all up. So if this sounds like it's up your alley, then let's get our craft on. We're gonna start by making a base plate. .220 grit. So this is the little guy that I'm going to be attempting to sculpt. He's sort of a samurai robot, and I want him more in this dynamic position.
Why are you using your mama's fine china?
Fine china has never entered this house ever. This is a plastic bowl, and I'm putting baby oil inside of it so that I can line it with Super Sculpey, and it's going to act as a reverse mold so that I can make the helmet for my robot guy. These get the basis for the helmet. Let's bake it up.
Tinu asked me to read this. Always put your Super Sculpey?
Yeah, that's right.
Always put your Super Sculpey in an airtight container or a bag. Why?
So it doesn't dry out. And you can see this is wired to build an armature. Let's stick the armature into the base plate temporarily using some hot glue.
Why are you making the little man with wire first?
Oh, that's so it can have strength. The wire just gives it structural integrity. And look at this, my push mold came out really nice. It's very smooth. So what I want to do is score, put some little marks into the top so that when I put another layer of Super Sculpey, it'll hold on better. Now I'm just using hot glue to make a temporary handle so that I can sculpt the top of this helmet.
So you adding more armor?
It's called armature.
Oh, that's the arms.
Yeah, Daddy, that's correct.
See? Thought I didn't know that.
I never said that.
But you thought it.
Yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to match the pose to my sticky bones. And now that I kind of got it where I want, I'm going to add Apoxie Sculpt to make it strong. Quick reminder, I'm making a samurai robot. Samurai robot. Hey Tinu, why are you making a robot samurai? Well, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's because of Ralph McQuarrie, who did the original concept art for Star Wars. I've always been in love with these paintings, and according to George Lucas, he wanted his warriors to have a bit of a samurai feel to them. Also, samurai armor is just cool. Quite a few years back, I saw that there were action figures available based off of Ralph McQuarrie's original paintings. I had to get them. I love these. So I guess that's all part of why I wanted to sculpt this robot samurai. I only have a few action figures that I've never taken out of the package, and these are some of them because the packaging is just as cool as the figures in my opinion. I also said to myself, Tinu, if you keep collecting action figures and not taking them out of the package, you might end up becoming like this guy. By the way, this action figure was way before COVID. This thing's pretty old. I don't want to become like that. I wash my hands enough. So let's cut up some Super Sculpey and put it through my Pasta Queen.
Pasta Queen. I heard that song on the radio the other day.
I don't think there's ever been a song called Pasta Queen.
Tinu, for someone who lives in the age of information, you're pretty uninformed. Look it up. It's called ABBA.
You listen to ABBA?
Tinu, I'm a sucker for a catchy riff. You knew this.
Yeah, I knew it now. Anyway, let me catch people up on what's happening on screen. So I used the Pasta Queen.
Great song.
To make a thin layer of Super Sculpey. And then I overlaid it on the helmet Sculpey, the one that I used in the push mold. And now I'm just drawing some like metal panel lines that's the kind of thing I like on a robot. I like them to have panels. And this is going to simulate a hand-hammered finish.
I doubt if you've ever picked up a hammer in your life.
I've picked up a hammer many times in my life.
And then you probably put it right back down.
Where do you even get this?
I have a technological web that I'm able to access at all times.
Are you talking about the doorbell camera you just bought?
Yes. You'd be surprised what you can learn about people while they're waiting at the door.
Ladies and gentlemen, during this enlightening conversation, I've been making a chest plate for my robot. I stuck it on with bacon bond glue. Now I'm adding a little design in the center. There we go.
I wasn't finished.
Yeah, what did you learn about me with your doorbell camera?
Well, when you try to go somewhere, you go out to your car and then you come back in because you forgot your wallet, then your glasses, then your keys. You repeat this process 12 to 17 times, and frankly, it's negatively affecting the air conditioning bill.
I didn't realize there was a separate bill for the air conditioning.
What, you think these people just give away air conditioning?
Back to the robot.
I worry about you sometimes.
I've been looking everywhere all over the house to find different things that I could stamp into the clay to make different designs. It's pretty fun. Not everything works, but like check this out. That's always a good one. Just an ink pen.
Crotch shot.
That is so unnecessary.
What? It's his crotch.
I'm smoothing out the hip area with some baby oil. That helps to take away fingerprints and also just softens the clay a bit so that it gets real smooth.
Look at that. You know, in Cajun French, they call underwear a consent.
I do not want to talk about a console. I want to talk about a robot. This is the bottom of the helmet, and yeah, I've just drilled a hole in it, getting it prepped. Now, one thing I didn't want to do was use any plastic armatures, but for the inside of the head, this pill bottle is going to work perfectly. Couldn't pass it up. I checked to make sure first that it wouldn't melt in my little evil bake oven. And now I'm just kind of scoring it up with sandpaper so that the Sculpey wants to stick to it. So I've added some bacon bond glue here. And yeah, let's roll some Sculpey up on it. Art knife. See, now it rolls up real nice. Real nice. So I'm putting it between the two, the top and the bottom half of his helmet to check the height. The height was fine, so now I'm just smoothing it out with some baby oil. In order to get the eyes the way I want, I'm using a curved piece of wire. See how the eyes are in the drawing? So I want to try to replicate that.
I gotta admit, that's a good way to keep the curves exactly the same.
Exactly. It's really hard to do these curves by hand. And look at that, came out pretty good. So now I'm gonna glue the head and the two pieces of the helmet together. Gotta be careful. This is some more bacon bond glue. And that little plastic piece in the center, it's not gonna melt in my little evil bake oven. I've already tested it. I wanna get his head smashed down at the right angle.
Dino, it looks like you drank 5 Red Bulls here.
Yeah, I had to put my hand at a really awkward angle around the camera so that you could see what was happening, believe it or not.
No, I don't believe it.
I'm putting the helmet at what I would consider a rakish angle.
That's not even a word.
It's in the dictionary.
I doubt it.
Go get a dictionary.
I'm pretty comfortable where I'm at right now. Look, what you doing? Adding some clay to the legs?
Yes, polymer clay. Polymer clay is clay that gets hard when you bake it in the oven. Don't say anything.
It's very difficult.
Just don't.
It takes a tremendous will of force.
Well, we're out of the danger zone.
Crotch. Hey, look, you're making him some booties.
These can simply be referred to as boots.
Booty, booty, booty. You remember that song?
I refuse to engage.
But look him up. He had 2 girl singers, catchy tunes. You'd like it.
I'm making all kind of just little small accessories to kind of go on him. I don't know, a robot would have some kind of nuts and bolts on his knees. And now check this out. This is some out-of-date RAM that you would think would still be usable, but it's not. So I'm using it as a push mold. So there, getting my money's worth out of that thing. And it makes some fine little panels for my little robot guy.
It looked like a pretty expensive way to make a square to me.
That RAM, it doesn't work in any of my computers anymore. It's they do that on purpose so that you have to keep buying more.
Let me tell you, all they want is your money. Boy, I'm telling you.
No. We don't want to go down that rabbit hole. So I added some Apoxie Sculpt to the arms. Doesn't it really make it strong?
They just want your money.
I added a few curves to the forearms using Super Sculpey to give it a little style.
What's this for?
Well, my little robot has some like horns on his head, and this is gonna hold the armature for those horns. See that? Give him a little curve. I decided to make the sword handle out of metal armature wire. Watch at this. This piece got so hot during this process that it melted the plastic on the clamp. Look at that.
You ruined my clamp.
Daddy, I bought these clamps.
And now they ruined.
My shoddy split of this metal is so that I can insert this wooden coffee stirrer as the sword itself, the blade, and I'm locking in the handle with Apoxie Sculpt.
That does not look promising.
Yeah, it's looking pretty rough.
Hey, who's that?
That's the decapitated head of his dead robot enemy. He's gonna be standing on it.
Now you got my attention, no. Now you got my attention.
I guess the magic word was decapitation.
Guaranteed to work on zombies, robots, and people too.
So my robot has a little bit of a flowing cape, but it's less like a Batman cape and more like a Clint Eastwood poncho type cape thing. Anyway, Sculpey is not strong enough to make a cape out of. So I used these dowels and some old t-shirt cloth, and I dipped it in Mod Podge and let it dry. And This actually works pretty darn good. I'm happy with the results of it. It's not dried super hard, so you can keep shaping your cape a little bit, and then we're gonna have to figure out a way to make it permanently strong. But look at this, isn't that cool? I'm gluing this to my little test dummy here, and this guy is gonna help me figure out the exact way I want the cape to look without messing up my sculpture. I put this guy through a lot of misery sometimes. The next step that I figured out in this cape process is to put super glue on every part of it. Try to really get it in every section, and then use some kicker to activate and lock in your shape. Now we come to step number 3, which I'm gonna try to lock this in with some resin. I think that's gonna make it really, really strong, and it's gonna be plastic. When you think about it, this is very similar to how fiberglass is made, except that I have a little more control between the Mod Podge and then the super glue. It gives me way more control to put odd shapes so it looks like it's billowing in the wind. Billowing. People ask me, "Hey Tinu, why you use both Sculpey and Apoxie Sculpt? Can't you just stick to one? It's confusing." Well, I'm using what I think will be best for each part as I'm making it. The biggest factors in this decision are strength and workability. Super Sculpey is easier to work with in my opinion, and since it's polymer clay, it will stay soft and be workable until you bake it. But the downside is that it's not very strong when it's dried. But Apoxie Sculpt is much stronger and dries by chemical reaction. Tinu, don't tell me we gotta study chemistry now. Relax. You just mix the two parts together and it starts the process of drying. Done. The reason that I use a combination of the two is because of what I was just telling you about. Strength. I usually use Apoxie Sculpt on the smaller parts that will tend to get broken, like hands, fingers, the tips of things, and the understructure of the sculpture. One amazing advantage that I've discovered in the recent months is that you can accelerate the drying time of Apoxie Sculpt with a heat lamp or in an oven. For me, that's a game changer.
Come on. Take care of your body, kids. It's the only one you got. Hey, I remember this clay. It's the dry one that you bought when you got ripped off.
Yeah, but I got plans for these. I'm gonna turn them into some gravel. So the robot head, I'm just placing them under the foot using Apoxie Sculpt.
Oh, I know what this is. That's the Sculpey glue that you so in love with.
Yeah, that's right. I'm using this to be able to attach all these little pieces of Sculpey that I baked. That crumbly Sculpey looks like little rocks.
JB Weld, that's some good stuff right there.
Yeah, that's what I use to attach the head because it needs to be really, really strong. Now I added a bit of Super Sculpey on top of it to make it consistent with the rest of the robot. I'm just adding a little shape to the sword handle. Taking this slow and easy, just trying to get the handle of my sword to be even. It's almost like I'm sharpening it.
Newsflash, you don't sharpen the handle.
Now I've sanded down the blade of my sword, which is really just a coffee stirrer, and now I'm dipping it in Mod Podge, and I think that's going to help give the finish less grain and make it feel a little more like metal. Usually start off looking like giant oven mitts. Both of the hands still need a bit of work done to them, but I'm gonna let them dry and then refine them more. Shake. I don't know if you've seen me do this trick before, but I'm real paranoid about spilling these little bottles of paint. Nice, long, even strokes. A little gold accent. That's a blade guard. I'm gonna put a little rubber cement on the handle because I want to wrap this handle in different thread. Start off with the red, tie a knot, and then wrap it. This is a total experiment. I wanted to see if I could make something that will go around the edges of my base. So I'm putting my Sculpey glue, kind of spreading it out, and then laying this thing over it, which is just a strip of Super Sculpey that I stamped with the lid of an aspirin bottle. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. Just experimenting. I'm folding the edges under because I don't really want to cut them because I think it's going to look ragged. Just attaching the seam, trying to hide it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. We went from a simple idea to a sketch to this.